welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. Anne Widdecombe has raised the stakes in a rousing speech opposing government plans to rewrite the definition of marriage during a fringe event at the Tory Party Conference. The former MP was speaking at a rally organised by a campaign group Coalition for Marriage, along with the former Archbishop of Canterbury, Lord Carey, Conservative MP David Burrows and C4M Director Colin Hart. Sam Mason has the details.
Hundreds of people gathered at Birmingham Town Hall this week for a Tory Party fringe event which asked the question, is the party alienating its base? It was the biggest fringe event at this year's party conference. Anne Widdecombe told those inside the hall that the rally was not an anti-gay rally, it was a defending marriage rally. She then turned the tables on those who brand traditional supporters of marriage bigots.
The real bigots, those who really deserve to be described as such, the real extremists, the real nasties, are those who believe that those who dissent from their view have no right to do so and that the state itself should silence them. I know you, David Cameron, and I know that this is not the sort of Britain that you want. So drop this measure now.
Former Archbishop of Canterbury, Lord Carey, then accused the government of plundering the institution of marriage.
I've likened this attempt to reform marriage to plundering. It is like annexing what was regarded as specific to male and female relationships and creating division where there was none and competition where there ought not to be. And
Lord Carey also hinted that the push to implement gay marriage could be the price of political coalition.
So it seems that not everyone in the homosexual community is in favour of the proposed demand for marriage and for change there. And of course, it may be even more pragmatic than that. This could be the price of being a coalition.
David Burrows said same-sex marriage hadn't been an issue before the last election, but MPs' mailbags are now full of the controversy.
I passionately hope that the government will think again about the proposal for gay marriage. You know, if it can think again about pasties and caravans, it can certainly do it again when dealing with the fundamental issue of marriage. But if the government does press on, it should recognise how important and fundamental the issue is. And if a referendum is good enough for 32 US states, then it's good enough for this country. Let the people decide.
It was left to Coalition for Marriage Director Colin Hart to assure the audience that the proposals can still be defeated.
When the government first proposed redefining marriage, they thought it was a done deal. They were wrong. Since the launch of the Coalition for Marriage, 5 national newspapers have run editorials against the plan. Many Conservatives, from cabinet level down to grassroots, ignored the name-calling and stood up and said, leave marriage alone, let's get on with sorting out the country's real problems. The government know they're in trouble on this issue. They've been drafting in activists from America to advise them on strategy. And their polling will show what our polling shows. The more people hear about same-sex marriage, the fewer people support it.
But the last word was left to Anne Widdecombe.
The Coalition for Marriage petition has attracted a record 602,222 signatures, which may have gone up even as I've been speaking. And that is about 3 times as many as ever achieved by anything on the Downing Street website. So let us stand up to the bigots. Let us defend marriage. Let us work for a free society, because there was a time when no Conservative would ever have done anything else.
Girls as young as 13 are being given the morning after pill at schools in Scotland without their parents' consent. The service, operating at 7 high schools across Dumfries and Galloway, involves school nurses giving out the emergency contraception at lunchtime drop-in clinics. They also hand out free condoms and pregnancy tests. Anne Allen from the Family Education Trust told BBC Radio Scotland she has real concerns about the scheme.
If I had a sense that the school was withholding information of this magnitude from me about my child, I would feel totally undermined as a parent. I would think that schools have a relationship with children for 4, possibly 6 years. The relationship of a child with a parent is lifelong, and it's parents who have to pick up the pieces.
Some other news in brief, and Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt has said he would back halving the legal limit for abortion to 12 weeks. Speaking to the Times newspaper, Mr Hunt said the moment we should deem life to start is an incredibly difficult question, but his personal view is that 12 weeks is the right point for it. But Prime Minister David Cameron has said the government has no plans to change the law. The BBC's coverage of controversial topics such as religion is to be reviewed amid ongoing concern over the corporation's impartiality. The review will be led by former ITV executive Stuart Preble. He will examine whether decisions to include or omit perspectives in news and current affairs coverage have been reasonable and carefully reached. The Church of Scotland has moved to seize control of one of Scotland's best-known churches as the row over gay clergy escalates. The 500-strong congregation at Glasgow's St George's Tron withdrew from the kirk in June over the ordination of openly homosexual ministers. But following talks between the church and Glasgow Presbytery, it seems that the congregation will not be able to continue to worship at the Buchanan Street venue. Reverend William Phillip, the Tron's minister, has said, "The congregation is very disappointed by this action," adding that we have tried extremely hard to part company reasonably, so we are therefore sad that Glasgow Presbytery has instead taken such a hostile approach. And finally, our very own Christian Institute News Bulletin has been highly commended at the Christian Broadcasting Council Media Awards ceremony. The annual event, which celebrates the best of British Christian broadcasting content, took place in London last week. Our weekly bulletin, which has been running for over a year, received the commendation in the category of innovative use of television. We were presented with our award by actor and comedian Tim Vine. And I'd just like to add my thanks to all the production team who worked so hard to make this bulletin possible. Don't forget, for more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.